Hey, Wade the Grandstreeter here. We changed sites. We got out of the sun, came over here where it would be cooler and shady. Now we have a mountain storm coming through. There's only one cell in the area and it's coming right over the top of us. And it's getting windy. So I'm gonna go inside and we'd like you to come and join us on this next adventure. Yeah, it's really coming down now. Nothing like a mountain thunderstorm to put you right to sleep.
Yeah. Scared of a little lightning.
We're getting hail.
It's like a big giant squall. They come on you fast and they leave you fast.
Ah, storm has passed, things are clearing up. It's the town of Ticonderoga. Okay, yeah, that was really very lovely falls. Loud, but it was way down from the road. Now I have to hike all this hill back up to the truck. What goes down must come up. This memorial is in tribute to the heroism and to the troops under the unfortunate Major General James Abercrombie in the attack on the French lines July 8, 1758. And there's a marker here too for the Revolutionary War Patriots, 1775 to 1783. All right, good. First one's here.
You betcha.
Okay, Welcome Center, Fort entrance, museum store, cafe, all that stuff right in through here. Ah, shopping already.
Right?
I was. I actually have extra down there. Just put on my.
Are you waiting for your group?
Yeah, I gotta talk to Debbie a little bit.
Wow, look at that view. Originally Fort Carillon, built by the French in 1755 to 1758. Renamed Fort Ticonderoga captured by Ethan Allen on May 10th, 1775. There's a
Good.
gate in the wall.
Take care. Beat Peacock Johnny Coe. To the front, march.
Up to 4 are key to the continent tour. You're in the right spot. You can come over as your tour guide is heading out now. Other than that, I hope you guys have a very wonderful rest of your day.
And those waters are beautiful Lake Champlain that surrounds us all of the way around this peninsula, and Lake George, which is behind those hills to our west. And these waterways are important because throughout this place's ancient history, conflicts over the desire to expand westward into land that the British government had treaties with Native nations not to settle. So a lot of different things going on across the lake as well. In modern day Vermont, conflict over land grants, which was swelling into violence there across the lake in modern Vermont. And here, probably bored, not expecting much to happen, sees this force of figures coming towards him out of the darkness, and had no idea who they were. So he called out to them to identify themselves. They did not. Fire a warning shot to awaken his sleeping comrades inside the fort. They did not halt. They continued heading towards him out of the darkness. So he went to fire his musket and nothing happened. It misfired. So without being able to awaken anyone, he panically turned around and rushed back through the covered way here, and forgot to close one of the smaller gates behind him. So, about half of those Green Mountain Boys and Massachusetts militiamen poured right over the walls that were described as being more horizontal than vertical. No quarter, which means we're not going to take any prisoners. We are killing everyone inside this fort today. We are a non-profit organization, so it is entirely visitors like you who allow us to continue our mission, which is to bring the stories to life and to use them to consider how the past has influenced our present and what impact it will continue to have on future generations. So on that note, I want to again thank you so much for visiting today, and I'll hang out here, and please feel free to come up and ask any questions you might have.
Building the timbers, making the timbers. I think it's a display between how our modern timbers look like, and this is what they would have made, you know, with chisels and axes and stuff. They didn't have big giant saws to cut things out. This was all done by hand.
I know which one Dad's gonna enjoy. I find it fascinating that the whole thing burned down.
Wow.
And then rebuilt in 1908 is what she said?
Yeah. Restoration in progress. French bake ovens, 1757. Here's where the stone wall fails. Now they have a chain link fence up around the edge here for safety. See the original cannon platforms there. That's where the fort sits today on this peninsula. That's kind of what it looked like back when it got started. This is what the powder magazine at the fort would have looked like before the French soldiers blew it up to prevent the British from capturing it. Yeah, that's about what the fort looked like in 1781, the final military occupation. First visitor to the ruins of the fort was George Washington in 1783. Powder horns. From the tiniest musket ball up to the largest cannonball. This sword is deeply impractical. It was modeled after a short Roman legionnaire sword called the gladius. Well, these are interesting. I wonder what these are. These swords.
There can be only one.
The 26th Regiment of Foot did garrison duty in Ireland until 1767, when they arrived in New York and subsequently marched down to New Jersey. They garrisoned New Jersey until 1770, and after that they were almost sent to British West Florida, which is definitely not a place you want to be, bound to get some sort of tropical illness. Well, they get sent to the much more preferable garrison duty up in Canada, where small guards of the 26th are sent to places like Ticonderoga. Sword, a hanger. But for going on 30 years now, the practice of regular battalion soldiers carrying swords has been discontinued. At this point, only the strongest, tallest men in the regiment, the grenadiers, are still carrying their swords. Early in the 7 Years' War, and used all the way up until the beginning of the American Revolution, holding all of the ammunition necessary to prime and load these firearms. And on the outside flap of that pouch is a decorative crest that would have been purchased by the colonel of the regiment to adorn the pouches of his men. And these reproductions that we wear today are based off of an original that was recovered from the ruins of Ticonderoga in the early 20th century. And that paper cartridge acting not only as a convenient carrying case, but also as wadding to keep that shot and powder down at the breech of the gun. And grab a cartridge, bite it off with his teeth, pour a small priming charge of powder into the pan, shut the pan, cast the weapon about, loading the ball, the powder, and the wadding down into the breech, drawing out that heavy iron rammer, using it to seat all of those ingredients at the base of the gun, returning that rammer to the loops allotted for it, going back up to the shoulder. And a British soldier could do this in 10 to 15 seconds. Fire! Snapping back up, ready to load their weapons again. Breeze then, putting their extra marksmanship training to use. Fire!
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Why did you lose the war?
history.
Think you could do all that?
Oh, heck no.
Really cool activity. Takes you through the fort.
No.
No?
He's boring.
You're boring? Oh, I doubt that. I doubt that. 2 soldiers per bed. That's the trick. 2 soldiers per bed. Yeah.
Go.
Come on, Connor.
Or
Or,
per
yeah,
bunk.
right beside your brother.
There you go.
Interesting.
Comfy?
No.
No. I mean,
It's a little comfortable, but
It's a bed though. Like that's the trick. You're not sleeping on the ground in a tent.
Stop for a lunch break. Homemade picnic sandwiches.
when we say yes.
Except for Connor. He was on a phone break. Yeah, the guy at the barracks, he was going to get you to write with a quill pen. He had a bunch of quill pins there, and he wanted to show you, see how you could write with it.
Now let's go back and try it.
So instead of red with yellow facings, cuffs, and lapels, we're wearing the opposite. Yellow with red facings, cuffs, and lapels so that we are easily distinguishable within a crowd. You can see the livery lace lining our coat, signifying that this is our formal wear. And if you look even closer, you might be able to see the number 26 embossed on the buttons of our drummers. Cocked hats, just like the regular soldiers are wearing, for everyday use, and a wool foraging cap for work and for sleep. But the fife starts out as a block of wood which is turned round on a lathe and hollowed out. 6 finger holes and 1 mouth hole are drilled into the body of the instrument, and 2 brass or metal ferrules are placed on either end to prevent the wood from splitting.
Began a long retreat that ended at Ticonderoga in early July of 1776. The Americans who made it to Ticonderoga
They look like bloodstains.
This here was a French uniform. Officer's coat. Surrendering of King George III and Queen Charlotte.
That's Queen Charlotte.
Yep.
That's who Princess Charlotte, I guess, is named after.
This is a oil painting of Geoffrey Amherst, the first Baron of Amherst. Robert Knox and Sarah Hollingshead Knox. Here was an officer's quarters. It's the wardroom. How heavy is it?
Yeah, it's got some weight to that
That's wool.
for the drummer boys. Boy, they're awfully small.
Well, for boys, yeah.
Oh, not at all. Something smells good.
In lack of a better term, because they're just big envelopes. We sew in the end just to keep the straw from falling out. They will be boiled in a big pot, and once all the vermin is killed, they would be placed in the grass to dry on a sunny day, and then they'd be restuffed with new
currently in our
straw
shop right here.
for the next 2
On a
months.
shoe repair.
On the road, Mr. Turner. Yeah, noise. So loud. Whoa, 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 whoa. Easy weight to that, huh? Okay, my turn. Having issues?
I got it like a micro inch, I think. There's a modern level. That's what I would use to level the trailer. Here's the type of level that they would have used. It was on the level. Yes, it's been a very, very interesting trip today. Nice to see American history, and nice to see the restoration projects that they've done versus what was left over. Apparently, people from the town of Ticonderoga had come up here and had started demolishing the fort stone by stone in order to build up their homes in the town. So as you're looking at the building here, you'll see the darker plaster and the lighter plaster. The pieces where the light plaster is, that's what was originally built. That's all that was left. And then they added on all this other stuff where the darker plaster is.
All right. Bill. All right, about. Bill. Thank you. Halt. Royal Artillerymen from that battalion were spread out all over Canada, sent to posts like Ticonderoga to help maintain the artillery that were present at them, tend to the loose shot and shell at each one of these forts and posts. The crew of the gentleman to the front right of the cannon would be responsible for using this, the sponge rammer. Opposite to this gentleman here is the soldier responsible for this on another ashwood pole, the wadhook rammer. And all of these soldiers, equally expendable, will also have on the opposite end of that ashwood pole another oak-turned cylinder in case the man at the front right is incapacitated. There will then be a gentle call for
Silence!
You're all doing a great job right now. Shut up! Listen for orders!
Lay out the apron. Stop the touch hole. Handle the sponge staff.
And to the back right of the gun would stop the touch hole with his thumb. The man at the front right would seize that sponge staff, dunk it in water, wring it out, and use it to
sponge the gun.
He'd insert it, push it all the way down to the bore, through the bore of the cannon, swab it out, and pull it out. Who would?
Put it into the gun.
He'd put it into the gun.
What?
A wad would then be delivered to the cartridge, being placed immediately onto it. The man at the front right would then
handle the rammer.
The rammer would come up, and using the weight of that ashwood pole, he could
ram down cartridge and wad,
seating that cartridge and wad all the way to the breech. Once there, he'd leave that rammer in, allowing for this commander and a man at the back right to
unstop the touch hole, handle the priming wire, try if the cartridge be home.
Using that long iron prick, he'd penetrate all the way into that cartridge at the breech, ensuring it's where he wants it to be. If he's satisfied with its location, he'll command the man at the front right to
draw the rammer.
The rammer will be extracted. Then
shot the piece.
Shot the gun. The man at the front left of the cannon would procure a solid iron shot, place it into the muzzle of the gun. Then the man, myself at the back of the gun, would deliver a wad to that shot, being placed immediately onto that solid iron shot, so the man at the front right can
ram down shot and wad,
seeing that shot and wad down onto the breech, immediately extracting that rammer he'd set to the side, and these soldiers would then be commanded to
unstop the touch hole, cover the vent, right out the gun,
seizing these wooden crows and handspikes, simple machines, the levers, not the men, that greatly amplify the strength of the soldier to wheel the cannon into battery. Once it's there, the man at the ammunition box would be ordered to
handle the priming horn.
The priming horn would come up, be handed off to the man at the back right. Who'd use it to?
Prime!
Prime! He would pierce all the way into that cartridge with a priming iron and fill that vent hole with fine-grained gunpowder. He'd then flip over the priming horn and use that wooden stopper on the opposite end to
bruise the priming.
Bruise the priming. He'd crush that powder out into the breech, where crushed powder is more flammable than uncrushed.
Secure the priming horn.
Priming horn is then brought back to a secure location behind the gun so this veritable bomb doesn't explode when we fire the gun off.
Take hold of the apron, cover the vent, handle your crows and handspikes.
Soldiers taking up their crows and handspikes once more will do so upon the command to
point the gun to the object.
Pointing the gun towards its object with a system of hand movements of left to right. The gun will be traversed on the platform, and verbal commands of
up
or
down
will be used to elevate or depress the gun's barrel to point its trajectory towards its target. Once satisfied, the commander will order the men to
lay down your crows and handspikes,
casting off those wooden levers off to the side. Then, patiently waiting, the man at the back left of the piece will
take up your match and blow it,
and use that match to Fire! It's a loud part. Hurling a solid shot down range towards the enemy by land or by sea.
What? What'd you say? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. What'd you say? No, that cannon was loud. That was very loud.
That is the way I want my bass drum to sound.
I guess we went out with a bang.
Okay, heading back into the gift store. Grandma gets to go shopping.
Oh boy.
She endured the heat, she endured the lectures, she endured the cannon fire. Now it's time to shop. Oh, there's another boom. We got some Christmas ornaments. There's an authentic tea set. They even have some English breakfast. And of course, they have maple syrup. Okay, well that's our trip to Fort Ticonderoga and Ticonderoga, New York. Hope you enjoyed the little show and some of the museum pieces. Yeah, it was a fun trip. Something a little different for us. So that's going to do it for today. If you liked the vlog, give us a thumbs up. And until next time, we will see you on the streets. Thanks for watching.